All right, so let's take a look at that second part. So let's see what we have here. We have, looks like book genres or something of that sort, something probably with reading, because these all seem like the common reading items: classics, mystery, romance, sci-fi and fantasy, and young adult. So it looks like these are the record number of sales for each of those years. Maybe a book publishing company has these 5 different genres that they focus on. And these are their profits from 2008, profits from 2009, profits from 2010, 2011, and 2012. So we'd like to see a visual representation of this because when I look at this, that's too many numbers. This is just way too much stuff for me to even absorb and look at. I can say, oh, 81,000, that looks like the highest number. Oh, no, wait, 131,000, that's the highest number. Oh, wait, 82,000. How do I process all of this data to make sure that, I can see more of a visual aspect of it, and the company can, in general, look at all of their sales and be able to draw some conclusions from that. And then also what we can do is make charts just for one of these genres as well. So let's make that big chart first, right? So I'm going to draw a box around all the data that I'm working with. And I'm going to go to Insert Chart. And we get something. I'm not sure exactly how useful it is right off the bat, but at least we have a chart that we can play around with. I do like these bar charts because these show the number of sales. Unfortunately, though, looking at this, it doesn't look great, right? These are all the classics, the blue bars for 2008, then 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. Yeah, I could draw some information from that. But if I look under the Customize or the Setup area, I can scroll down and see where it says Switch Rows and Columns. Let's try that. All right, now it's each of the years, and then it shows each of the genres for that year. So this first, all the blue ones are the classics. So I can look at the 2008 cluster and say, all right, classics didn't sell very good. Mystery, ooh, those sold quite a bit. Romance didn't do so hot in 2008. Sci-fi and fantasy did terrible in 2008. And young adult did all right in 2008. When we look at the next year, we can look and see like, whoa, that's a huge spike in the amount of romance novels that have been put out. But everything else kind of seems to be the same. A little bit of growth here and there, nothing too wild. And then we can see in 2010 how that yellow bar kind of dropped down. And we can just keep moving across and see the information from there. So it's a good thing because we can look at all this stuff. But also, we want to be sure that we're mindful of exactly what the data is saying and how easy it is to look at. All right. When I go to customize it, the first thing I want to fix on here is the title at the top. So we're just going to click through. We can even try to make these look 3D. That actually looks a little blurry to me. I'm not a huge fan of that. Maximize, that doesn't look very good. And compare mode, I'm not exactly sure what that's doing. So we're just going to kind of leave it. All right, the title text, that's the text up here. We can double click in here to edit it, or we can put it in here. So yearly sales by genre. How does that sound? I like it. All right, and again, we can play around with all the different information that we want to play around with on here. All right, we can move the items to the left and the right. And this is a thing where we just want to play. We're not expected to fix or perfect any of this information or anything else like that. All right. And just so you can see where I can switch that information, I'm just going to move this over here. Switch rows/columns. It's happening right down here where the mouse is moving around. I just had to move my video a little bit just to resynchronize it. All right. So we have a lot of information on here to play around with and things that we can just explore. Now remember, this is the introduction to this topic. We're not supposed to be experts, but we're supposed to be kind of good at a bunch of stuff and be well-rounded on it. So that's the yearly sales by genre. What I can also show, in case you wanted to play around with just one single piece of data, I can grab this top column, because I need the years to be included, and bring it down, and I can make a chart from those two as well. Now this chart looks like it is, shrink this so we can see it a little bit better. This is a nice little line chart that's going on, right? And this is just the classics, and it's not versus genre/year. Classics sales over the years. That sounds a little bit better. And when we look at this now, we have this line chart that grabs data points from 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and we can start drawing some conclusions from this and saying like, we started all right. We had a real strong year in 2009, weak year in 2010, terrible year in 2011, and a little bit of recovery in 2012. So, again, it's playing with the data and seeing what we can get the charts to say. I'm not going to waste too much time by going through all the customization again. There's a lot of stuff that we can set up here, and it's stuff that we want to explore. Don't feel like you have to master and perfect all of this. Usually it comes down to when experts in spreadsheets have a problem they need to solve, they'll do a little bit of research, they'll do a little bit of exploring, understanding, and then when they figure it out, they'll come back and then they'll be able to place all the charts in, and it's also just playing around with it. And if you mess something up, like that, if I just Control Z it, it just brings it back and snaps it back. Control Z is the same as this undo operation up here. So you can move forward, you can move backwards, and you can move through your history of how you're creating items. All right, so charts are kind of fun. For the assignments, we're going to have a few charts that we're going to create, and we're going to try to figure out some information using these charts to, just play around with info and see how we do from there. All right, so with that in mind, be sure to ask questions, be sure to try things out. Don't be afraid to explore and try out just whatever you can, because worst case, you just undo it.